next? Forgot your name, don't find you in roster. Ay, ay, who's next? Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, one step closer. Ay, ay, who's next? Hand the controller, it's game over. Or, ready for war. Or, this is my battle, war. Please don't talk to me. Bring the sword on, no, it comes with the fee. Challenge the whole world. Deal the cards like the G. Poker face is the key. Ruins and debris. Take down my enemies. Deal the cards like the G. Poker face is the key. I'm next, I'm set this place on fire. I'm next to battle through the line. Next up and rise. From the tone to pay the price. From the tone. Shine armor around my waist. Ay. Blood drop, another time been waste. Ay. Chop it up for me, it's a startup. Put in work in the world arena. Go, your skill is so. Hey, big no, I'm ready to go solo. Hey, I pull up, please no photo. Hey, when I pull up, don't lose your control. Deal the cards like the G. Poker face is the key. Ruins and debris. Take down my enemies. Deal the cards like the G. Poker face is the key. I'm next, I'm set this place on fire. I'm next to battle through the line. Next up and rise. From the tone to pay the price. From the tone. Do you feel it? Do you see it? We have a long way to go. March down, heart pumping out of chest. March down, yeah, we need to move fast. March down, put your sword up high. March down, I was born for this fight.
Hello everyone and welcome to the RTA Season 18 Legend Tournament. My name is Evan.
And I'm Seppi.
Can you believe that we used to just let the rankings decide who was number one at the end of a ranked season?
How silly of us.
Now we take the top four and make them fight in ceremonial combat for our entertainment.
And the winner comes out as the legend of Season 18 World Arena Tournament, commonly known as RTA, for all of you to watch.
Yeah, and their name gets added to the Hall of Fame forever. And they walk away with a couple cool aesthetic items that are uniquely theirs as well. We're in for an awesome ride ahead of us today. If this is your first Legend Tournament, then you're in for some fun, because some of my favorite RTA games that have ever been played have happened at Legend Tournaments preceding this one.
Yeah, and we'll have at least a couple players that known this stage very well, and maybe a couple of champions on the way, but the rankings are still not completely closed, so we don't know exactly who's gonna be in the three last spots, but number one this season for sure is locked.
It's gotta be, dude. Yeah, number one, I don't know if you guys have checked the rankings recently, but number one is definitely locked, but the others are kind of in flux, and that is going to affect our bracket ultimately, because one is against 4 and 2 is against 3, and so
exactly. So a lot of changes can happen right here. Maybe someone that comes in at 4th gets to number 3, and then he gets to fight the second one instead of the first one, and gets out of the player that's been 500 points ahead of everyone else.
Yes.
Season.
5 minutes before the RTA season closes is when you want to put the most work in, because maybe you only did your homework in one particular matchup, and so you're like, I gotta accelerate up so I can fight this guy.
And I know we're not seeing you, but I would love to know what rank you closed in. Did you get the first C1 maybe? The first G1 of your account, C3, something like that? I know that we're all always trying to chase that rank, and when we get it, it's amazing. It doesn't matter what the level is.
Yes, and remember, you can always try again next season when it comes around, and usually seasons are preceded by a fresh balance patch, so we're interested to see what changes are going to happen. But this is one last great send-off for Season 18 and all of the meta units that were within it that we've seen at Season 17's Legend Tournament, as well as America's Cup and the other SWC Cups so far.
And that's something that I'm very curious about to see, Evan. Will we see a different meta than we saw during the whole season, and how does that compare to the America's Cup? In the America's Cup, we saw something completely different because the winner, Big V, was incredible and brought new things. Tablo, Nikki, the Jameer to surprise Thompson, Konamiya to amazing picks. Will these players bring that, or will we see the same thing? But going back to the rules of this will be on SWC mode, which means there will be a pre-ban. So these players will probably pre-ban some of their very strong LDs and maybe even a Lulu over here in each match with strategy to steal picks away from them.
Lulu very well deserving of that pre-ban. It's my favorite mode to play RTA and to watch it because you got to face your fears eventually. You can't keep pre-banning over and over again. Here's a look at what the winners stand to gain today. We're going to see that coveted legend title put right next to their name in the Hall of Fame, as well as some skins that they'll get to walk away with, including the Ronin Demon, which I think is probably one of the coolest skins that we've seen awarded here.
Very unique, and a really cool thing about this is the semifinals are a best of 3, but the grand finals, as you know, is a best of 5, and we've had this go down a wire a couple times, so maybe we'll get a treat today as well and have 5 games with the best 2 in a showdown. And we've seen Leica beating Ragdoll and Jaeger on this stage. We've seen matches that have ended without anyone dying. Do you remember that? A Chroma match? We've seen Tian Lang come in the clutch, and I know that one of these players has a Tian Lang, and we've seen matches where even an Elemental Nat 5 was the one that had to shine to bring the title home, like the Ganymede with Ventilate constantly bringing back the immunity from the Pontos that brought the win in the last season.
Ganymede, the monster that no amount of nerfs can fully keep down. And you know what? Surprisingly too, Okeanos has kind of proved himself in the same boat this season because he got a pretty sizable one at the start of it, but he's maintained his way all the way through. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a couple of Okeanoses today.
Yeah, I would love to see some, and also Changpang, the Art Master that was also a little bit nerfed but still brings so much to the table, and it's really strong against the meta. The big question is, will we see a Molong tonight? Because in SWC America's Cup, we were waiting for one and it didn't show up. Players were playing extremely aggressive, double speed lead, control, AoE strips, and there was no place for Molong.
No long. And they're pretty important. I mean, you can see, we'll have to see what we see tonight. Yeah. We've had snipe comps on Legend tournaments in past, but having artifacts be introduced into the game so that now that 70% on Reckless can be closer to 80 or 82, that's pretty significant.
Yeah, but knowing the play style from at least the top 2-3 players that are here tonight, we're probably going in for a very aggressive turn 1 play style, trying to steal each other's speed leads. We know that they have premium LD units like Neftis, Gianna, a couple Hans, the Light Monkey, Kitian Da Shang, please buff, just kidding. And this might be a fight for turn 1, and then whatever player has a Pontos or a Lulu, some more reactive units with 100% res might be the difference maker. Or something like a Tian Lang as a last pick to avoid that turn cycling, gaining turns, going around, and hopefully you can see a couple surprises.
Yeah, this should be a really entertaining Legend tournament. I'm super looking forward to it right now, especially because those units that we were talking about before, like the Han and also a couple other things that we've seen in the meta past, they yield a very aggressive playstyle that's going to close out matches in such a way that's both exciting, and it tends to lean towards the quicker side because things are just happening. Like Han's landing defense breaks, he's cycling turns, getting the big damage out there. Even things like Changpeng and Carnal can stun lock a game and kind of keep it, and that's kind of decided.
I'm glad you said his name.
Yeah.
Fire Bison, Carnal, the name of the season. Many people asking for a nerf. Let's see if that's going to show up in the balance patch, but let's see if he's going to be here tonight because that monster brings so much to the table. Attack bar reduction, slow, stun. He gives himself attack bar, stealing from the opponent. Has a provoke on skill 1. It's just very complete. I feel like monsters in this game that really make it that far are monsters that have a complete kit. Every skill matters. Even a Ganymede with a skill 1 can glance the opponent. I remember when he was nerfed, people were like, oh, it doesn't strip anymore. You know, obviously strip on skill 1 was extremely OP, but that glancing is so powerful.
Turns out glancing's really good. it looks like the rankings have been decided. We are a mere 7 minutes after the season has closed, so we've got our people for today. Let's take a look at Hard Brick. We briefly talked about Hard Brick before, a returning competitor from the Legend Tournament past. We see his most picked monsters and most banned monsters, which actually look suspiciously similar. The only change is Ragdoll and Lulu in most picked, most banned.
3 legends under his belt, and the Kition Shang with the control. I love to see that he also brings the Lulu counter to that, and the 2 monsters that really disrupt him. Ragdoll. The AoE that he brings obviously does not want to see the Dark Dragon Knight because he'll give so much attack bar to the other team that it'll cut in and then you can't do what you're planning to do. But then again, he has a Tian Lang to counter the Ragdoll.
Right, and you know your Tian Lang is probably going to get force banned in that matchup, so it's just a weird thing where you both agree to do it. And like you said, Lulu is an excellent counter to some of the units he's presenting, so it's really important to lock it down early. Yeah.
And that's another interesting thing. I haven't seen here a Heigang as one of the most banned on the first one, but yes on the second one, because Heigang is a great counter to Gianna. So we might see a lot of Heigang tonight, hopefully. And on the second one, Aris brings in the Chungpang and the Okeanos that we were talking about. So a lot of control over here, together with the Light Monkey, AoE strips, and the Heigang, one of his most banned monsters, together with the Tian Lang. And he doesn't want his opponents to have what he has is strong.
Understood. And here comes Tars. Most picked monsters, we're seeing a more up there as well, the Water Ryu. And we've got in the most banned, a similar most banned what we're seeing, though it looks like he does a lot of double control, double lockdown, increased cooldown time with Oki and Gani.
Gani Oki is still so strong, Evan, because once it comes in, the ventilate, the attack bar reduction from the Gani, the damage from Oki, sometimes he will miss stuns now, but with artifacts, he deals so much damage that you're probably dead when he misses something. And on this side, we see the Water Ryu, another speed lead, strong monster. What I want to know is this a Swift or Despair Water Ryu? We've seen a lot of reactive Water Ryus on Despair against fast comps and other ones that just want to take turn 1, reduce attack bars, and control the opponent.
And then move forward from there. Very cool. Tars. I don't recall seeing Tars in a Legend tournament prior.
Yeah, and I love that he's very aggressive. We don't see a Lulu, we don't see a Fran on his most picked monsters. So different from the number 1, he hasn't even picked any support units on the main one. So we might see him just trying to outspeed, control, and kill.
I was going to say, it tells you that he's very, very confident in his speed. Here comes Howtoplay, another returning competitor from Legend tournaments past. And in the most picked, those are the Nefties, the Han, Kitian Dashang, Wunsa, Gianna, like we were talking about before.
Yeah. From the box, probably this is the strongest one together with Heartbreak tonight because he has the Wunsa and the Gianna, the 30% speed lead, then the speed lead from Nefties and the control from the Monkey. These 5 are basically a very, very strong team that packs double strip, control, damage, death break. Anything you ban is kind of very difficult to deal with. So it's going to be more about how they pre-ban and what units they manage to steal from each other.
Yeah, it's so funny the way that his strip off, every single monster has some sort of follow-up after the strip, like even Gianna, right, can put a bomb. Now here's the bracket. So every rank has been closed out, so it's organized like this. We got Hard Brick up against Howtoplay right away in the semifinals, followed by L&D Monster, that's Ares for short, and Tars at the end. These are going to be best of 3s, and once we move into the finals, it'll be best of 5, all pre-banned the whole time.
Incredible, Evan. The 2 former champs going at it right off the bat. So we're going to see 2 of the strongest players ever trying to destroy each other and get to the finals. I'm going to see, do you think that we're going to see the priority on the Gianna, the Nefties, the Light Monkey? What might be the main unit that will fight for?
I'd imagine they'd probably fight for one of those hyper-efficient speed leads right off the bat, like a Nefties. If you're competing for Nefties, speed lead, Han as well is another one if they happen to have it. I don't recall seeing Han.
They do?
Just Hard Brick has a Han as well, so I think that might be hotly contested too.
I totally agree with you. And interestingly enough, even though they have a Gianna, since they have those premium speed leads like you talked about, we didn't see Ciara in the mainly picked monsters, but we might see her here because they're going to steal each other's monsters. So Ciara is an extremely strong damage dealer. It's a monster that not only has the speed lead, but has control, turn cycling on her skill 1, can destroy opponents because remember, bombs don't glance. So even if you bring a Molly, you better have 100% resistance.
And we're still talking about it. Ciara was here, present, and a competitor for one of the best monsters in RTA before artifacts, but once they came here, they just made her even more powerful because now she hits for like 3,000 on her first skill.
All oracles are so strong right now. The turn cycling damage, the additional damage from the artifacts, and we're gonna see right now how these players are gonna adapt against each other. I think that's going to be the main thing, and the counter picking. Is the Lulu going to be taken after someone goes really aggressive with the Hay Gang? Then you're too heavy on the water side. Diana, we might see a Diana. I want to see a Diana.
It'd be worth it. I would love to see a Diana in the Legend Tournament. Not a lot of Pontos in those most picked monsters that I noticed. And
interesting. Maybe some of them don't have it, and we're going to see it right now. When Heartbreak and Howtoplay start, game 1, best of 3. Remember, this is a short one. They won't have much time to adapt. So the first pick goes to Howtoplay, Evan, on the first game. That is very, very important because he knows whatever he pre-bans, he can take the main monster and not leave it for the other side.
Yes, this is a big pre-ban, and you touched on it a second ago, Seppi, but I just want to echo that thing. Remember, if you lose this first game, there's a lot of pressure put on you because you got to put a point on the board because this is just best of 3. You don't have the luxury of getting to know your opponent.
It's incredible. I think Heartbreak went so hard this season, 800 points ahead of one of the best players of all time, and they're taking their sweet time on the pre-ban. We'll probably see one of those speed leads pre-banned or something that counters if they think that they're going to bait them and not pre-ban a Gianna on each one of the sides to not have to deal with these monsters. But he knows that Howtoplay also has the Wunsa, which is super fast, has a very high speed lead, and sorry, not speed lead, a very high base speed. And together with a speed lead is almost impossible to be outsped. So the Eridus, why does he? That sounds like a statement right there, if you ask me.
That's definitely either a statement or a timeout. That's definitely, it's looking like he might have timed out in this particular one, so we'll have to wait and confirm whether or not that is ideal, but the 5 seconds.
The ragdoll makes a lot of sense. Kitty on the Shank is picked first on the Legend Tournament. I love to see that monkey up there. Now let's see if they reply, because Heartbreak, that is a very weird pre-ban. The timer's going down. Maybe he had some connection problems.
Nope, he's here, present, and that means it was a statement, which is great. I love that.
And he goes no LD, Evan. We talked about LDs, and Howtoplay, on the other hand, goes with the Wunsa that we talked about, the speed lead from the Nefty, so he's doing everything according to plan. And the Yan Hong probably on Swift. He flashes her. Is he bringing her? This tells me, Evan, that he knows what he's doing, and he wants to go first. Let's see if he brings 33% speed lead. Is it the Yan Hong coming out? The Lulu.
He's just sort of tantalizing us for right now with the Yan Hong. Didn't show up in his most picked monsters drafts. There's the Han. This is Howtoplay's most comfortable draft, actually. Yeah. You can see a couple videos of him playing it in his replays.
He's going with all 5. If he picks Gianna right now, these are his most picked monsters. But he switches to the Pontos. Surprisingly, we didn't see that, and I love the Volantis pick right here because it's a reactive monster. If you start Volantis, remember, counters, gains attack bar, can control your opponent, but oh no, changes for the Laura, 120 base speed, super high, and then with the Wunsa, another very high base speed monster. Now he has to choose what he brings. Probably 2 units on Swift right here is gonna bring another very fast unit, and I feel like he brought 4 elemental monsters, again a full LD. If he wins this, Evan, this is definitely a statement.
It's definitely a statement piece for Heartbreak. There's the strip. I was gonna say, if you just bring another stripper right now, if I was in his position, I'd almost just ban Monkey, eat the Nefties.
Totally agree with you. Totally agree with you, because the Monkey right here can be very, very strong since he has so much. Or he can ban the Wunsa and trust that this Laura is not gonna do much. We've seen many players talking about how Laura is inconsistent sometimes. Maybe she misses something, and then probably the best set is on Wunsa. He has the attack bar. The Laura doesn't give attack bar, and he bans the immunity. Wow, he really trusts his speed.
This is going to be interesting. I think he's probably banking on taking turn 1, and he's probably going to do it too. That level of confidence means that he's got really high speed. Let's see what happens.
No way!
No way!
I love this!
No way!
He can't do anything, but the Laura goes next. Can he cut the Monkey? I think he has 2 monsters that cut the Monkey. Ooh, not enough. He needs to hit the reduction, Evan. The reduction is key right here. Can he do it?
No strip on Nefties, but at least he could try again with Oki to try to prevent, but
I think he needs to get the stun. He needs to get the stun to guarantee the control. Yes, and that's what he does. He gets 2 out of 3. The Nefties will get it, but he can maybe proc out of something. Glancing on the monkey is really important, but he has glancing on himself, and this is gonna be a fight to see who can lap first. The Oki can throw something back to the monkey. Really important right now.
Operation Kill the Monkey is a go. Nothing lands on the monkey. He's got to proc out of something. This is such an interesting start to the game. Nothing went quite as we expected it to go. Laura put some damage on the board.
Oh, I think this is gonna be tough because if the Chungpung doesn't proc, the monkey's gonna go off. He needs a proc right here to reduce attack bars. Is it happening?
He needs to. All eyes are on Chungpung right now. He needs to land this. No,
No proc, and that will be game. The lockdown from the monkey's too strong. The rate for return from PSM dying early enough that it's not gonna do a lot of damage. He can go little by little, killing each one of these monsters, and the sleep is too strong. I think he had a very good idea of bringing monsters that don't have will into the wounds. I love that, but the missed strip on the Nefties.
That was absolutely huge.
That was the game right there.
That was the game, and his game plan was right there. It was a really good draft. I really liked what he was bringing to the table, but not getting everything that he wanted right away. Just kind of locked it down for him, and that's going to give Howtoplay 1 point up in this best of 3. So again, that means that he's got to get a point on the board. Otherwise, he's out right now.
And let me tell you something. Stealing or pre-banning that monkey would have been the game changer. Because then he would have only one big threat to deal with. Maybe Gianna would have been the last pick and he would be off will. So the Gianna wouldn't do much as well. So I love his strategy, but now his opponent knows. He's fully off will and he'll bring something to adapt, or Howtoplay can just bring the comfortable draft that he did again, but I love that he brought 5 elemental monsters. The ban on the Triton was key because the Triton's a little bit more consistent than the Water Ryu after the nerf. So he'll see, does he have another monster? Does he have a Chiwu maybe that he can bring with very high base speed, a little bit more consistent than the Water Ryu to fight this team? But I love what he's doing so far, and let's see if he can adapt a little bit to get that little detail that he missed on game number 1.
Yeah, it's a little detail, but Howtoplay is not going to fall for that same thing again. If he starts seeing those same monsters, he's going to know that they're not on will, so he doesn't necessarily need to start with his wound sub per se. He could go a different route. So that's a lot of information to be yielding at the start. All Moore really needed to do was land that strip. I felt bad for Moore.
An important thing, he also has intel on the other team because he knows a couple monsters are off will, so maybe a Swift Ganny might be something very interesting on either side to show here, because monsters off will, Swift Ganny comes in, resets 1, the attack bars are gone, and then your team's moving ahead with everyone. The cut on the Chungpung was really, really important. And let's see, game 2, let's see if he changes the pre-ban. Ragdoll might get through here. He can even change strategies, Evan. Bring a Ragdoll, Lulu, something more Bruiser style. But let's see what the pre-ban is. Is it going to be a Gianna this time? Is it going to be the Pontos that he doesn't want to deal with?
Something different from Hard Brick side, at least, I'd imagine. There's a big opportunity here to pre-ban something important. Pre-bans wound side.
And I love that he pre-banned the Lulu because he knows if I give him the Ragdoll Lulu might come out, and that's too strong because the cut-in, the proc, the amount of attack bar he's gonna get is gonna be too much. So we'll see the adaptation. This time he takes the Nefties, not playing any games, well, playing Summoner's Ward.
Once that speed, yes, he's definitely playing Summoner's Ward.
Talks about the Chiwu. I told you, Chiwu, one of the best pairings for the light monkey, very strong. He's like, okay, you take my LD away, I'll bring one that is a different color, but it has a 24% speed lead.
I'm still a big proponent for getting rid of the monkey in most situations. In that last game, if they'd gotten rid of the monkey, then that means they would have had the debuffs, but they wouldn't have been locked down. They could still play the game.
Yeah, well, what he was afraid of was also the 2-turn silence from the Pontos and the protection.
There's a
then
lot.
He doesn't, yeah, it's kind of difficult, but now he brings 33% again, and the Tian Lang. The Tian Lang, a little bit early, but it does counter the skill 2 from the monkey. Maybe he's trying to prevent from anything else that gains attack bar to be brought in. I'm kind of surprised that we haven't seen a Cardinal too. I know that they have a lot of strong units, but Cardinal is a great unit into these type of situations.
Still lacking some strip options as well from Hardbrick if he wants to even consider leaving that Pontos in play. We'll have to see. Howtoplay has been considering that fourth slot quite a few times.
Laura comes out again. She did pretty well last match. Key stun that kind of locked in for him, and now we're going to see if he brings the strip that you're talking about, but I feel that if he brings double strip, he's going to be very weak into the follow-up, because then you can ban the Nefties and there's not a lot going on. I think these 3 first picks, he's thinking too much about turn 1, and I like this better. It's a monster, it's a stripper, but it's a reactive unit. Gianna last pick, I love that. 1 strip, but the other ones are reactive stripper.
2 units with strip and follow-up, which is great.
Savannah, that sounds like kind of a difficult choice because the monkey will control you, Savannah will def break you. There's also the silence over there on Pontos. I think that this time he's not as worried with Pontos, and he's probably gonna ban either the monkey or Savannah.
The monkey, I think again it's the monkey.
Yeah. And with a double speed lead into the Gianna, the question is this Gianna Bio Gianna or a Swift Gianna? Either way, she's probably getting banned right here because she's the monster. Oh, the Juno, surprising, the Savannah's banned. I think that he did not expect that happening. He did not expect that.
If that Pontos gets a turn, this is going to be a really difficult game for Hardbrick. Let's see what happens.
The Gianna's pretty fast. Here comes the strip. She resists the monkey. This is huge because the monkey's gonna come in, control the whole team again. That's why we talked about his ban, and he can try to just put a bomb, stun everyone. The problem is the only monster that you can't put a bomb on is the monster that you wanted to put a bomb in the first place.
Right. And she can get the stun here because the defense buff that went up on everybody.
Yes.
So this is actually a great turn of events.
But a proc. A proc might change everything.
Is all it takes from Pontos to cleanse everybody and put up way too many turns of immunity, and all of a sudden,
Too good of a draft.
all of a sudden there is not enough strip on the side of Hardbrick. Yeah, excellent, rock solid draft from Howtoplay.
Very, very strong, and the thing is that Pontos counters the PSM so hard because he's gonna hit right now, but everyone has invincibility, so no damage is gonna be dealt. He can put the silence right here to lock it in because remember, once the Tian Lang wakes up, he can try to stun and bring something in the comeback. He plays it slow because he knows that the Nefties has full attack bar, but she procs out of it and nothing to do. I thought that he might try the silence right here, but he's playing it safe, waiting one more turn to put silence on everyone.
Yeah, this was a pretty awkward proc from Nefties because there's not too much to do. I think the proc absolutely helped, but we would have seen a similar situation because the bomb wouldn't have gone off. Pontos would have just woken up the next turn, cleansed everybody.
I'm gonna call it again. The monkey lockdown should have banned it one more time, and now the silence comes in, showing his power. Kitty-on the Shang. If I take turn 1, if I strip your team, a lot of people are not gonna take turns. And right now, the 2-turn silence, the writing's on the wall, Evan. It's really difficult to get out of this. The Laura also had a very, very important stun on the Tian Lang because he was gonna get a chance to disrupt, strip and stun, and Howtoplay came really prepared to go against Hardbrick.
Yeah, Howtoplay has clearly done their homework and is ready to fight against their first competitor, and it looks like they're going to be moving forward. Now, with that said, Nefties is going to get some defense breaks here. We're going to have to see if Tian Lang actually has enough damage on him to actually carry this ahead. He would need some sort of proc or something to get that skill 2 online.
Normally they're on despair,
right?
But yeah, the Gianna also looked on Swift. But the thing is, the monsters are so low right now that even single attacks like this will take them. And the Laura with another stun to lock it down. A lot of people talk about her, and this is a 4v1. Even if you kill the monkey, there's so many monsters left. The Okogura is going off, and she's showing why the 120 base speed is so big. Howtoplay.
Moving on. A very dominant position there from Howtoplay. And yeah, Laura really showing her stuff with that fast base speed. The Nefties just came in a little bit too late because at that point all the monsters were within just skill 1 beatdown range.
I don't know about the Tian Lang pick. There was not a lot of attack bar boosting. It was a little bit early. Maybe he could have brought another fast strip to fight for turn 1. But I do think that the Light Monkey and Laura were very key here. The Light Monkey, we expected it. But Laura, I didn't think we would see her today. And I love that she came out. A monster that sometimes is called not very consistent. But right now, it got 2 clutch stuns. locked down 2 games and together with a light monkey brought the win to How to Play side.
It's a give and take. You got to choose. Do you want the 120 base speed that comes with that strip option, or do you want something a little more consistent, like going for a Triton but slightly slower? So it's a give and take with Laura that you have to choose between. But yeah, I love the draft from How to Play. Thought it was brilliant. In the Tian Lang just coming in a little too early because the monkey, yes, it hinders that skill 2 from the monkey, but at that point you're already asleep or you're stunned or
skill
something.
Skill 3 is the big thing.
Yeah.
And the interesting thing, we did not see the Han come out to help this team, not on either side. I think that both of them knew that we were going to do that.
All right, guys, so we'll be back with more semifinals action right after this quick break. Stay with us.
Roller coaster, ayy, ayy. Who's next? Forgot your name, don't find you in roster, ayy, ayy. Who's next? Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, one step closer, ayy, ayy. Who's next? Hand the controller, it's game over. Or, ready for war. Or, this my battle, war. Please don't talk to me. Bring the sword on, no, it comes with the fee. Challenge the whole world. Deal the cards like the G. Poker face is the key. Ruins and debris. Take down my enemies. Deal the cards like the G. Poker face is the key. I'm next up, set this place on fire. I'm next up, battle to the line. Next up, bad price. From the top, pay the price. From the top. Shine armor around my waist. Hey. Blood drop, another time been waste. Hey. Chop it up for me, it's a startup. Put in work in the world arena. Go, your skill is so. Hey. Big no, I'm ready to go solo. Hey, I pull up, please no photo. Hey, when I pull up, don't lose your control. Deal the cards like the G. Poker face is the key. Ruins and debris. Take down my enemies. Deal the cards like the G. Poker face is the key. I'm next up, set this place on fire. I'm next up, battle to the line. Next up, bad price. From the top, pay the price. From the top. Do you feel it? Do you see it? We have a long way to go. March down, heart pumping out of chest. March down, yeah, we need to move fast. March down, put your sword up high. March down, I was born for this fight.
Hello everyone and welcome back to the RTA Season 18 Legend Tournament. I'm still Evan and I'm still joined here by Seppi. We just saw How to Play versus Hard Brick. Hello everyone and welcome back to the RTA Season 18 Legend Tournament where we just saw Hard Brick versus How to Play.
I'm still Seppi.
Oh yeah, I'm still Evan, by the way. And so Howtoplay has just moved forward into the finals after a strong semifinal showing where he presented some pretty great drafts up against Hardbrick.
Yeah, and I love seeing the Occult girls making an appearance. We saw Nikki at the America's Cup, and now Laura making it shine at the Legend Tournament.
Yeah, of all places to be debuting that Laura, it's a pretty high stakes place to be doing it, but she really proved her worth here. She got some clutch stuns in both situations with that high base speed and the strip option. She's very, very cool.
Yeah, very interesting picks. And what we will see now is how did he manage to beat Hardbrick, the number one, 800 points difference, but a very important thing is he came prepared. I think that most of these games were won in the draft, like we were talking about the second one. Pontos was a very strong pick, had to be banned on one of them. On the second one, a strong proc that even, he had two chances to do that. Really, we're gonna talk about it in a little bit, but the first match had a lot of elemental monsters versus a lot of LDs.
Yeah, that was a strong statement from Hardbrick in the beginning, but missing the strip over on that first turn with Mar.
On Nefties.
Oh, on Nefties, thank you. Yes, on Nefties was really tough for him, and it kind of cost him the game.
Because Nefties came in, silenced, and gave the time for the monkey to come back up and bring the control. And remember, the third skill from the monkey works like this. If you have a lot of debuffs, especially 2 or more, he's gonna reduce your attack bar, so you're gone. Right here, what we saw is strip. Even though he missed on Gianna, very important thing, the Gianna was too fast. So the Pontos didn't have any type of immunity put up yet, so all he had to do was proc out of that stun, or even he would have had a chance on the second turn to proc out of the Nefty silence. So he had 2 chances to do it, and the draft just felt very, very strong.
That's why you bring the Pontos. That's why you bring him on Violet as well. And yeah, like you said, Gianna just way too fast on that first turn. She didn't have anything. Well, the only reason she got the strip in the first place was because of Laura's third skill.
If he had a Vio Gianna, the Pontos would have moved first, and then he would have put the immunity. Then if she strips that, there's nothing else to react to it, right?
Yeah.
So I think that the problem here was the Gianna was too fast. It was the only thing that happened. She resisted the strip though, which was pretty good, but the speed tuning right there ended up hurting him more than helping.
Yeah, there could be another universe where maybe we wait and just see the bomb go out and you save skill 3 to try to bait the Pontos into putting out the skill 3, but that's all in the past now. Howtoplay has moved forward to the finals after a really strong showing in those semis, the first very clean 2-0 of the tournament tonight.
Yeah, and the question, are you going to see these guys also playing in different styles like that or trying to steal monsters like we saw in Game 2? On Game 2, he took the Nefties, but then again, we talked about, he picked a very early Tian Lang. That Tian Lang didn't do much. It wasn't countering a lot of oracles on the other side or anything like that. Just skill 2 from the monkey, and that's it. So Howtoplay was like, okay, I'll let it through. I'm not that worried about the Tian Lang, and he missed a little bit of that follow-up and speed. Once again, on Game 1, the Water Ryu might have been the thing.
And ironically, too, the Tian Lang was preceding 2 Oracle picks on that same side, so the Tian Lang was arguably hurting him more than Howtoplay was ever going to feel the pain from Tian Lang.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's exactly how it was. We're going to be looking forward to the next games here in just 1 second. We got L&D Monsters, or Ares for shorthand, versus Tars, who is a newcomer to the Legend Tournament from what I've seen so far.
Very interesting. Both of them super close on the ranks. It was a crazy race in the end, only 16 points away, and we're going to see what the pre-bans are going to be. We know that also they like a lot of control, double strip comps, and we'll maybe see a Han on this matchup.
That's what I want to see. I love Han. He lends to a really interesting game where it's very aggressive. You got to play around the damage. You got to find a way to survive. It's almost like bringing Cleave to the Legend Tournament. Cleave in the Legend Tournament is exciting.
A monster that has Death Break and self-cycling is so strong. Finally, the Kitian the Shank pre-ban does not want to deal with it, says Tars. And the Tian Lang ban on the other side, which means I'm going to pick Ciara, I'm going to pick Gianna, all these turn-cycling monsters. Let's see if Ares does what we expect. Does he want to take the Oracle first pick, or does he do something different? Are we going to see another Pontos in this matchup?
Trying to vie for one of those great immunity options right at the start is not a bad play. It does also, again, that's another thing that kind of dictates the speed of the match that we're looking at, playing something a little bit more mid-rangey than maybe aggressive. Colonel, right here.
We asked for it on the other matchup and finally shows up. 44% HP lead. On the other side, the more really strong probably Swift or Despair. We don't know yet how the comp's gonna be out. Let's see, he's thinking about it. Probably bringing another option for Speed Lead. Nope, it is more Okeanos. Great pairing.
RTA Season 17 on the right side there.
Pre-nerf.
Yeah, pre-nerf RTA Season 17 looking like. Yeah, the Cardinal pick, super strong. Can't wait to see how it performs here because it's been so strong this entire RTA season. Chiwu
I love the response with Chiwu Gani because Chiwu is a very consistent stripper, brings an option of Speed Lead and Ganymede. Counters Okeanos because if you reset someone, I can just give the turns back with the Ventilate and also a great follow-up option to reset out after the Chiwu. And even the bringing right here the PSAM and the Savannah is a little bit dangerous into the Gani, but he will want to take turn 1, which tells us last pick should be something like a Triton or an AoE stripper. Yep, on Swift.
Guarantee that you can get through. And on this side, the Hey Gang to counter the strip from Moore. That's a very great option from
We talked about it before, but remember, and the Kinky finally. I love that pick. A little bit more mid-range like you talked about, countering all the picks on the other side. They lack a little bit of damage. Remember, Kinky very strong into this comp without any heals, any sustain, and the Hey Gang. Even though he's really good against strippers, remember that if they reduce your attack bar more than you boost your team's attack bar, it still can be very, very dangerous. So it all depends on the last pick. I love a Triton last right here with a ban on the Chiwu.
Goes for Annabelle. Now that is an interesting pick because Tars only has one source of.
You know what that tells me?
It tells me.
That tells me that he's banning Ganymede because he wants to bring sustain against the Kinky and the Cardinal. No reset, so he'll do a lot of damage, and boom, that's what he does.
Perfect call, kind of broadcasted with the lack of the second one. R is trying to bring this into a death by 1,000 cuts kind of game, making sure that he's getting revenges from Kinky all the time.
I hope this water reuse on Swift and outspeeds right here, or Despair to counter. Yep, he's on Swift, baby. Can he reduce enough attack bars to let him not do anything? It's not enough. It's not enough, Evan. The Chiwu comes in, but the Savannah cuts.
Savannah ready and waiting to cut and apply defense break.
But nothing on the Bison. The glancing comes in. He can't do anything. No stuns. The Cardinal is going to have a feast because he comes in with his AoE and kills one monster, proc, to control the Okeanos and reduce the attack bar. That's what he does. He gets so much attack bar back that he can just provoke the Okeanos again, and the Kinky will destroy the whole team.
Oh my goodness, more dead on arrival here. Cardinal barely taking any damage from the PSAM. Did you see that? Yeah, that was nothing.
Whoa, he cut in, gets some stuns, but the Kinky finishes him off. Another proc from the Cardinal. But the thing is, how do you deal with the Kinky?
That's it. You don't. There was no follow-up there for the Kinky. That was just going to be a longer game where Kinky was going to end up killing the entire team on his own.
I love the ban on the Annabelle. We knew that when he picked the Annabelle, he broadcasted that he was going to ban the Gani. And that tells you, I banned the Annabelle, you can't deal with my Kinky, you can't deal with my Cardinal. I got you. You have to hit everything. And we know in RTA, when you play turn 1 with monsters that have a chance of activation, if you don't hit everything, you might lose. And whenever the other side has countering units, you're probably going to lose.
Maybe a little bit more immunity on this next game as well for Tars because having the Cardinal to lock you down, take out some monsters, that's a little bit difficult too. And also it'll protect you from defense breaks from the Kinky if we're going to be seeing that same strategy again.
Or I would have liked a more aggressive pick as the last pick that wouldn't tell him that he was banning the Gani, right? Because you could maybe like, you know what? I'll ban your speed lead. I don't have to deal with Chiwu, so I know that if I reduce your team enough, you don't cut me. The problem is the Chiwu cut in, reduces attack bars, and then the Savannah had so much weight. And she had to hit everything.
Imagine if she had landed that defense break and attack bar reduction on Cardinal.
Yeah, very, very difficult to land it though. The attack bar reduction, it's tough. It's tough. Savannah's a very stat-hungry monster, right? You need attack to hit the death break. You need a lot of speed to hit the attack bar reduction. You need a lot of things on her accuracy as well.
There's a little bit of trauma going into those pre-bans right now from game 1. The Kinky and the Cardinal, that feels very targeted.
The R's, he says, I got first pick Cardinal. I don't want you to have it, but he gets the next best thing, Okeanos.
Also, pairing both of those monsters are best friends with Ganymede.
Or biggest enemies as well.
Biggest enemies, yeah. Very good point.
Right now, Eris gets the Monkey and Chiwu. Very, very good comp because they synergize very well, and he knows if the water Ryu misses anything, you also have the res lead from the monkey if you want to play turn 2, so you can even bring a Lulu into this, or you can just stay with the comp. Exactly, that is double strip, control, double speed lead. But right now he knows that the water Ryu outspeeds.
It's fast. That's exactly what I was going to say. We already know that how fast that Moor is. We know that he can take turn 1, and this is a very similar draft that we're seeing from Tars right now. There's the Tian
I love the Lulu. I told you. Because right now he has fire control, double water, and 100% resist. Lulu is really strong against water Ryu. PSAM does not strip, so now it's probably a Chung Pung that's going to show on this side. I would love to see, or again, it needs some type of reset, and then another way to start this match, like a Triton. He brings the Savannah once again.
One more time before she loses her runes. We'll see. And a Gianna.
Oh. Triton, yes, that's what I wanted to see. I love the Triton pick because right now this forces RS to bring a Leo or a bird. Wow. I love this. This is a great adaptation, but right now he's forced to ban the Leo and try to take turn 1 control. Leo's kind of a forced ban right here, and remember, also the Tianlang counters a lot this comp. The attack bar gain from the Okeanos, it's going to be really strong, but I don't think he can let this Leo through.
It really hinders that third skill. And like you were saying too, poor Moore these days had such a hard time even activating his strip, and if 100% resistance, Lulu's on the other side too, he's not going to really land too much. Let's see. It's got to be Leo, right?
Yeah.
Obviously.
It's a force ban. He bans the Okeanos. Very interesting. I would have loved a Savannah ban. I think Savannah can be a key monster right here because we're going to see a strip from Triton. All the weight's on his shoulders, but now you have a second strip follow-up from the water Ryu. So turn 1 should be to the other side. Yes, he gets it. Mega Tsunami gets the 4-man stun. I love that reduction on the Lulu. Takes attack bars away. He gains attack bar. Will give attack bar, but now this is the moment. Savannah. Yes! She got everything. Great draft. The monster that is popping off is Triton with all the reduction. Can he silence all of them? Yes, sir! That's a match!
That is the game, confirming the kill on the Kitian Deshang.
Even if Lulu procs, she won't have any type of cleanse because she is silenced for 2 turns. Right now, he finishes off the Chiwu, and this is what we talked on game 1. If he brought the Triton, it would have been way better to counter that comp. Even though I love what LD Monster tried doing here, the draft, we could see it on the draft.
I love passing that Tian Lang's own defense break back at him at the final end of the game there. That was great. Yeah, Tars, great adaptation from that whole draft.
And a very dangerous ban on the other side. The Okeanos against the Lulu and a Tian Lang, you're not that worried about it. You're worried about the death break and attack bar reduction from the Savannah.
Yeah.
So that ban right there, yeah, it was very, very dangerous. The Savannah, when it hits, it can just destroy the other team, and the damage takes the opportunity from the Lulu to sustain the team and make the game a little bit longer and bring you back into it, right?
Right, but sometimes it can be hard to feel that out, especially when you're on kind of a world stage like this. You're used to playing alone with not as much stakes, but this is the legend title and a Hall of Fame entry forever.
A lot of pressure.
Sometimes it shakes you a little bit, but yeah, that's Savannah. That was the game. As soon as she landed the defense break and attack bar reduction, specifically on the monkey as well, that was the main one.
That's the main one. And on Lulu too was very important. The good thing is that Triton counters Lulu so well that it reduced so much attack bar. If you saw, it went to 50% attack bar.
Silence. It's like you were saying, she can't even proc out of it if she wanted to. 2-turn silence, huge.
So if you guys are having problems with Lulu,
bring 2-turn silence.
Get a Triton.
Or a bearing or something.
Yeah, bearing's really good
Hall
too.
of Heroes.
A little bit less consistent, especially since it doesn't have attack bar reduction, but great against Lulu Bird as well. And here, the monkey. Pre-banned again, the Tian Lang pre-ban on the other side.
Interesting.
And now we will see if RS goes back to the kinky comp that got him the first win. Cardinal comes out, now he switches. I love this from Tars. The Lulu and Gianna, not yet, because he knows there's a couple units that don't have will. I don't know if you want to bring the Gianna that early. What does he bring?
Aries is looking to set up with a similar comp to what he had in the first game. The Cardinal, I think, was the first pick there as well.
Oh, it is.
Oh, instead, it's just the opposite order.
Sticks with the Gianna first. We're probably gonna see AoE strips once again. Is it the Chiwu? No, he brings stealing the Ciara and the Heigang to counter directly the Gianna. That's why I was talking about maybe a little bit earlier for that. But the Chiwu now is on the other side, and he can bring the Oki, which is really strong right here. It gives you the option to control, and you know that you steal it from the other side. He still trusts the Savannah.
Yeah, Savannah really redeemed herself. We saw a nice redemption arc in that game too, where she really came in clutch, landing all those specifically attack bar reductions, defense breaks as well. There's a lot of strip against a Haegang.
Yeah. The thing is, he has attack bar reduction on the Chiwu, so if you reduce the Cardinal and the Ciara, and even though if he cuts, if he can't stun you, it's not on despair, it doesn't do much, right? And he has a Lulu, you can cleanse, sustain. The question is, what is going to be his last pick? If he brings another AoE stripper, he'll be lacking damage if Savannah's banned. I would love to see on our side sustain and maybe a bruiser right here to bruise it off. And he brings Chung Punk. He says, no, sir, I'll bring double speed lead, aggressive. I don't care about that. I want turn 1. Who cares?
He's gonna vie for that turn 1. Yeah, this is gonna be a pretty intense game from ours here. The complete pivot. I was expecting to see some sort of like even the Kinky making a reappearance or something.
And the question now is, what's the last pick? What can you bring? Are you gonna ban the Haegang? Are you gonna ban? Oh,
that's what we were talking about in the beginning.
Is Cardinal getting banned right here? Is that what he's telling, or is it a bait? Because if he bans the Cardinal, he has 2 wind units into a double water, double wind comp. She can bring the Lulu to out-sustain the team and deal a lot with it. I like this Diana last pick. He doesn't have the Tianlang there to worry about, and it was the last pick. So very, very good. It kind of tells us that he's there trying to bait for, trying to look like he's going to ban the Cardinal.
Yeah, there's a lot at stake here too. If the Diana makes it through, everybody is pretty much AoE as well.
It was a bait. He does not ban the Cardinal, bans the reset. The question right now is, can the Lulu shine? He let the Lulu through. I'm very afraid of that.
I was thinking ban Lulu, to be honest.
Yes.
This is huge.
I'm very afraid. 1 proc can change the game. Turn 1 goes to that Ryu, and the interesting thing is, gets a reduction. Is it on despair? Can it stun? Because the Lulu is 100% res for sure, and it resisted the strip.
Yes, let's see if he can give out some stuns. It might not be on despair.
Evan,
we don't have enough information.
Evan, I told you, the Lulu, if she misses the bomb on the Lulu will cleanse, and she goes ahead.
100% res. Let's see. The bomb connects. Detonate, kind of boom, baby.
This is gigantic. Can she proc out of it? No. Well, the Gianna cut. What? He did it.
This is not to stun the Cardinal?
Interesting choice.
I wonder what he's going for, because this actually, could, in a world, it could cost ours the match.
Yes, why didn't he stun the Cardinal? Oh, because of the Haegang.
Oh, that's
because of the Haegang. He would just be cleansed. Exactly.
Good point.
Here comes the Ciara to finish that Lulu. He has to kill that monster because the Lulu right now can bring the game back. He knew that the Haegang passive was going to come in. Is the Lulu dead? Yes, sir.
That's 5%.
Well,
I think
it is.
Yeah, that looks 5% to me.
It looks like 5%. Yep.
Really well handled.
If he finishes up, the question is, how can he kill this Cardinal right here? It has to be Gianna. If Gianna's dead, the game's over. You can't do anything. The reduction comes in.
And the defense break could be helpful if somebody decides not to glance between either the pony or the beast rider.
Bomb on the Cardinal, and this match can turn around. Gets resisted.
The biggest resist from our Cardinal.
This is so big. He goes for the damage. He can transform.
He's going to transform. Just do it. Just do it. Just do it. No, I want to do it.
He has to guarantee. Kill the Ciara. Go the 3v2. Not the time to risk it. Not the time to risk it.
The greed.
No, that's the wrong play.
No, but it's the greed in my soul, dude.
No.
It's
and here comes the Haegang. Reduces the Gianna. The Gianna probably won't have another chance right here. He has to deal lots of damage.
I love that he went for it.
Yeah. Can he provoke right here? No provoke. The Gianna has an opening. Right here, lots of damage. Now he can do it, Evan.
Go for it. That's the game.
It's Diana.
Oh, with the threat from the Diana right at the end, too. He was going to do it. Oh, I just wanted to see it live.
Beautiful played. Very interesting that turn when he did not use the Gianna skill, knowing the passive of Haegang was there.
It took me a second to recognize it as well, because sometimes you forget. Haegang's passive has a lot of clauses in it. It's got a lot of if and then situations in there, so sometimes you can get away with it.
Yeah. I still think that the Lulu made him waste so many resources that it was so key in this match. But he was afraid of getting started by the other team. But then, if the Chiwu starts, your Water Ryu cuts in and you have the opportunity to counter, reduce attack bars, and then just control the match. But he was a little bit afraid of a ban on the Cardinal.
He played around that Lulu with surgical precision, and you got to, because if it had one opening, it was going to make the whole game way more complicated for him. Tars with a great win, moving on to the finals.
I love him trusting the Savannah. The
single
Savannah
game.
reduction, the death break. The only match that she missed it was the match that he lost.
Right.
And on these two, she came through, got the death break on 2 key units, reduced attack bars, and turned around the game.
And also that defense break on the Cardinal at the end was also really helpful. Well, guys, we want to thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight. We got more awesome games ahead of us, but we don't want you to just sit there and not take anything home with you. We've got our first code of the night underneath us on the table here, so you can type that in if you're on Android, and you can get the link for iOS from our wonderful mods in chat.
Oh, there's a mystical scroll? I'll get that right after stream
Maybe
because
that's my Cardinal.
Maybe that's my Bastet.
That could be. We would love you to get a Bastet, because 2v2 RTA is going to change totally for us if you get a Bastet.
Have you guys played it? Are you loving it? Because I have. I think I have
galore.
like almost 150 matches of it. I love the complexity, being able to play with units you don't have with friends.
I love hopping on a call and like chatting away and coordinating our attacks together. That's probably my favorite part. It's my favorite update for Summoners War so far. I have a lot of fun playing that mode.
Yeah, it is really fun.
Cardinal, it's suspiciously difficult to play around on 2v2.
And interestingly enough, this match, he lost. We've seen him being pre-banned. We saw him win match 1. Let's see if right now, when these two players match, who's going to be the main thing? Because on one side, Howtoplay will bring a lot of LDs, a lot of control, a lot of speed. Is Savannah going to come through once again and save Tars?
Yeah, we'll have to see if the trust in Savannah maintains its way into the finals. We've done our best of 3s, and we're heading into our best of 5s here in a second. That's going to be a very interesting game between these two champions.
Yeah, but before that, we'll have a short break for you guys, and coming into the best of 5. See you in a little bit.
See you soon.
Who's next? Ice in my vein, coast west roller coaster. Ayy, ayy. Who's next? Forgot your name, don't find you in roster. Ayy, ayy. Who's next? Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. One step closer. Ayy, ayy. Who's next? Hand the controller, it's game over. Or, ready for war. Or, this my battle. War. Please don't talk to me. Bring the sword on. No, it comes with the fee. Challenge the whole world. Deal the cards like the G. Poker face is the key. Ruins and debris. Take down my enemies. Deal the cards like the G. Poker face is the key. I'm next, I'm set this place on fire. I'm next to battle through the line. Next up and rise. From the tone, pay the price. From the tone. Shine armor around my waist. Ay. Blood drop, another time been waste. Ay. Chop it up for me, it's a startup. Put in work in the world arena. Go, your skill is so. Ay. Big no, I'm ready to go solo. Hey, I pull up, please no photo. Hey, when I pull up, don't lose your control. Deal the cards like the G. Poker face is the key. Ruins and debris. Take down my enemies. Deal the cards like the G. Poker face is the key. I'm next, I'm set this place on fire. I'm next to battle through the line. Next up and rise. From the tone, pay the price. From the tone. Do you feel it? Do you see it? You have a long way to go. March down, heart pumping out of chest. March down, yeah, we need to move fast. March down, put your sword up high. March down, I was born for this fight.
Hello everyone and welcome back to the RTA Season 18 Legend Tournament, this time for the finals. I'm still Evan.
And I'm still Seppi. A best of 5 between the 2 best players of Season 18 of RTA.
That's right, we got Tars and Howtoplay coming up here in the finals for that best of 5. We're still doing that pre-ban mode where you can pre-ban a monster, but you gotta face it eventually. And we're just hot off the trail here from an awesome best of 3.
Yeah, and we're probably gonna see a fight between LDs and Elementals. Savannah came in the clutch and Tars.
All 3.
Very, very strong monster. Maybe we'll see it against the other team, but the thing is, can he take turn 1 against Howtoplay? Will he bring the Triton to try to help him to do that? The PSAM, 33% speed lead. It might have to do some of these things and then see what happens, but for sure, the Light Monkey is gonna be pre-banned in some of these matches.
Competitors for MVPs tonight, I think. The Light Monkey, we got Triton, and also Savannah. I think Savannah actually deserves a spot. We got a highlight reel here from those last 3 games we just saw between Ares and Tars here. That first game where Kinky actually really shined. I love that pick. It's a shame that we didn't get to see him again, but I think the other drafts were.
Yeah, the main thing was the Savannah not hitting the attack bar reduction on the Bison. Then Bison just took over the match, and that's it. There wasn't much to be done. Even though the PSM did some damage, the Okeanos tried to control with Rain of Stones, the game was already over pretty much.
Right, by that point, Ares had already won the game, but it wasn't for...
This is the game we talked about. Game 1, he should have brought the Triton to outspeed and control. And now, this time, he brought it. Outsped, Savannah controlled, the damage came in, stun, very important. He got rid of the monkey fast enough, and the silence.
That big silence that we talked about, just absolutely defeating a Lulu because she has no chance to proc out of it and do that dreaded cleanse on her skill 3. And passing back the defense break for good measure, just as a kiss at the end there.
Yeah. Beautiful draft, very consistent, double strip in case one of them misses, and now the final one. So many resources. You have Hagang, you have Water Ryu, and ban the Chiwu. That's what I didn't expect. I would have banned that Lulu and go just face into that team and see what happens.
And look at how much attention that Lulu drives. If she got 1 turn, that was going to be so devastating.
Very good play, not using the third skill to try to stun because it would just gotten cleansed. Right now it looked like he was turning it around a little bit, but missing damage, the Ciara taking lots of damage, and he didn't manage to kill the Gianna fast enough. She even missed a bomb on the Fire Bison, so we can't even talk about having good RNG over there. The thing was Savannah. Attack bar reduction and the very important death break that you talked about on the Bison. Resist right here. The damage from skill 1, look at that, how hard it hits, and that's game.
And we talked about it during the break as well, but by that point, once the Lulu was off the table, Ares was pretty much dry on resources. All the skills were used up. Even if they got an opportunity, they didn't have too much to present that would accelerate them further into that match.
Well, we're gonna take a look at the bracket that has brought us here tonight. The 2 best of 3s are over, and on the top we see Heartbreak losing to Howtoplay 2-0, and Howtoplay gets another finals to try to be champion once again.
And then Tars taking the game against L&D Monster, that's Ares for short, in a 2-1 match, which we just watched the highlight reel, and we're about to go straight into the finals for a best of 5 to decide the Season 18 Legend.
Yeah, and let me tell you something, Tars probably has a lot of mental endurance because he came back. He lost game 1, he changed his draft a little bit, made some adjustments, and managed to turn it back. So in this best of 5, he's probably the kind of player that is not afraid of trying new things, trying to adapt to how to play his draft. So I would love to see how he's going to deal with all these LDs.
All these LDs, and where Tars has endurance, Howtoplay has had rest, had a whole 3 games to sit out, recollect themselves, and do their research on their next fighter.
Yeah, the Hagang might be a very strong thing right here because we know there's a Gianna player on the other side. The Nefty's really strong. Will we see something very different like a Tetra that we haven't seen in a while? Maybe a Veramos? No, I don't think so. But
oh, I would die for a Veramos live at the Legend Tournament, though. That'd be great.
Yeah,
that would be absolutely amazing if we could see those monsters back.
I want to see Han. Han in the finals. The 30 speed lead, it's beautiful, lots of damage into this, but I think it's definitely going to be another fight for turn 1. Very aggressive players, and like we predicted, no Molong here tonight.
Yeah, that was something that was notably absent from the America's Cup. We kept expecting it to show up at some point, and he just never did. And the same is true here, apparently, for the RTA Season 18 Legend Tournament. By the end of this, we're going to have our champion, who's going to be in the Hall of Fame right here. We're going into the finals right now. Here we go. How to play versus Tars. We're going in round 1.
Round 1, let's see if that Laura comes out. Let's see what the pre-bends are going to be. Is it going to be the Light Monkey? Is it going to be the Tian Lang? What's going to come out? Both of them 2 points apart only, Evan.
Look at that.
How interesting. Only 2 points apart and fighting each other in the finals. Pre-bends, the Wunsa, so he definitely wants turn 1. Maybe a Triton's coming here, and the Chungpung on that side. We didn't see it come too often. I'm kind of surprised. I was expecting something different.
Right, we haven't seen much Chungpung action tonight, and those 2-point deficit there is exactly why we did the ceremonial combat.
It's out.
Han is here, baby.
So he's gonna probably bring the Gianna. This is the type of game that you know kind of what your opponent is doing. So he brings the 33%, which tells us there's a Triton coming and then another control option. Is it gonna be the Okeanos? Is it gonna be something different? And from this side, is it gonna be, oh, he steals the Triton.
That's huge.
Very smart. Now what is he gonna bring? It has to be the Chiwu, maybe? That's the only thing he can do?
I think that's the only other option that I'm remembering that was been presented from Tars so far.
Yes.
How to play.
Yeah, it is Chiwu Savannah. We knew it. Chiwu Savannah, it's all going to come down to Swift units. The question is, who is Howtoplay going to bring late? The Kinky. Ooh. Still, let me tell you something. I really like the draft on Tar's side because he can ban the strip and just go face. And if he manages to stun this Kinky, that's match. So the question, he's probably banning the Cardinal, right?
Yeah, he's probably banning the Cardinal. We're gonna have to see. I'd love it if he bans the Triton here. That's huge. Or he could do something silly and force
because
it.
the question is, if he does, Triton was he did not ban the Cardinal. I think this is looking really, really good for Tars. But will this Nefties resist the Water Ryu once again and guarantee the match?
We've already seen that tonight. So How to Play is banking on Moore's less viable strat of stripping things, hoping for a res from a Nefties. This is actually the exact same situation that he was in.
Very, very similar. Very, very similar. And the question now is, will the Water Ryu hit it? Turn 1 is for him, as expected. Hit everything on everyone. Death breaks are gonna be huge. Can she reduce? Death break on all 4. The Bison is gonna hurt so much. Here comes Carno. Stuns the Kinky. This is a lockdown, Evan. This is over. Oh
Savannah,
my
MVP.
God. Oh my God, what a death break. And let me tell you something, she's the MVP, but Water Ryu came to play. If he hit that strip, there was game right there. And this did not last long. Like we talked about, I love Tar's draft, and the Elementals beat the LDs.
Elementals coming in clutch again. That Carnal, though, to lock down the team. We were talking about how maybe a ban on the follow-up might have been good there because having Savannah into a Carnal is a really bad recipe.
Great adaptation because he got the Triton stolen, but he said, I'm going to bring the Chiwu, I'm going to ban your fastest monster, and I know I can outspeed because my Water Ryu is
really fast.
But he banked everything on him.
Moore says, I am speed. Doing his best Leo impression, always going first.
And that's another thing. Maybe we'll see a Leo on the next matches because a Chiwu came out, so Leo really strong into these comps because there's a Savannah on that side. So I would love to see a Leo, but as we know, these guys like to be very aggressive, take turn 1, so not a lot of reactive picks.
And this is, again, a best of 5, so these players actually get to know each other a little bit more than a best of 3, so that can kind of be a little bit more with 2 O's. You can kind of feel your opponent out, get what they're trying to do with their strategy, and adapt a little bit easier.
Is the Savannah getting finally banned, or the Cardinal?
Somebody's got to respect the Savannah. Eventually. I don't think that's the ban.
Did you see that damage? Cardinal hit so hard with artifacts.
Cardinal probably should have been the ban in the last one. But we'll see what happens in this next one. We're going into How to Play versus Tars is round 2 of the finals.
Now, first pick switches sides and the pre-ban, like we talked about. I don't know if How to Play's pre-ban of the Chungpung did enough. So Cardinal or Savannah, more key to the comp. We know if you ban the Cardinal, he's going to probably bring the Oki. So I don't know, maybe Savannah is the key. He bans the Cardinal. Ben on Nefty's on the other side. He knows it's a monster that normally built in 100% res. He still wants to go with the water Ryu. Let's see if the first pick from Howtoplay changes and he tries to steal a unit away like the Okeanos. Oh, it is Light Monkey right away.
That would have been a nice pivot from Howtoplay there because, like we said, Carnal does have kind of a replacement with Okeanos. They share similar tasks. Here comes Laura again.
And he steals the Chiwu this time. So we know that on that side, probably we're going to see a Savannah right now into a speed lead. And then last pick Triton, or he's going to leave it for that side. Yep,
There's
speed lead from PSAM.
PSAM's been doing great, by the way.
Doing really well. He's thinking about it. Thinking he has a king key as well. We know that that might come out. So if he doesn't have a stun, it's going to be really, really difficult.
News. Yeah. Oh, Lulu
switches it.
Lulu PSAM?
Like game 3, he's going to bring that Savannah. You know the Savannah's coming out. And now finally Pontos right here. Immunity, speed lead, guarantees turn 1. I don't know about the Han.
Okay. Neither does Howtoplay.
I like that better. Ganymede, yes. Way better. Ganymede and Monkey Lockdown really strong. And Ganymede Pontos really strong as well.
This is almost a force ban on Pontos until the Juno's here. But I still think Pontos.
I think he's gonna ban the monkey.
You think he's gonna ban monkey?
I think he's gonna ban the monkey.
And just go for the no follow-up because there's so little damage on that side?
Ban the monkey.
So he's just so like, I'll just
Great pivot.
That's
great pivot from Tars. Love it. He kind of called the ban right there, but he says, do you have enough damage to kill me? I don't think so.
He's banking on no. He's really banking on
I don't think so. You can put immunity, you can reset me. At one point, my Juno will destroy you.
Here's my only fear is that there isn't enough strip on Tarz's side to deal with Pontos Gani ventilation.
I don't know. I think he got this. I think he got this. This looks really good for him. Reduction not hit on that. He needs to get the stun on Pontos. The Gani will get a reset right here. Very important. And if the Pontos procs, he can come back huge.
Excellent choice to reset the Juno so that she can't.
No proc, that's a dead Laura. Uh-oh. Like I told you, this is game end. How are you going to deal with this? Okeanos going to reset right now. This is game. Beautiful draft. Juno, really important right here to kill the monster. Is enough. He doesn't have damage. No damage left for Howtoplay. What an out draft. Another draft full of elemental net 5s controlling the LD master Howtoplay.
And all of a sudden, Tars is at match point. This is incredible against Howtoplay against another Legend Tournament holder.
Well, his name might be Howtoplay, but we can start calling Tars How to Draft. Because he definitely made that pivot, killed the strat by bringing Juno and banning the monkey.
There was no damage.
There's no way you can deal with it. It's over. Even the Pontos, if it put immunity up, it would have been gone. He has strip, he has the reset from Oki, the damage, even if he doesn't stun, it's so much damage. The Savannah is super fast. So that's what I said. The pre-ban on the Savannah would have been better than pre-ban on Cardinal, because if you take his Cardinal, he's going to bring Oki.
Yes.
So these two are interchangeable. But the Savannah is the AoE death break.
Right. And that's why
the damage.
That's why that light monkey in the first pick slot, like I don't think we know if Tars has a light monkey. We haven't seen it presented yet. If he's got one, I don't think. So picking light monkey first there would have been maybe an Okeanos would have been better to take the substitute, because then you're pre-banning Cardinal and you're also essentially banning or stealing his replacement option. Let's go into game 3. Again, Tars at match point right now in this best of 5 against Howtoplay.
Let's see if he continues with this great draft. Now the pre-bans are going to go out. Probably light monkey pre-ban. He does not want to play against that unit.
I wouldn't either.
Let's see what he does. Oh, Wunsa. Okay. So the light monkey can come out. Tars with the first pick right now. Let's see what he decides. Is it the Cardinal back in?
And how interesting is that, Howtoplay getting rid of the Moor?
I like that. He thought that the Moor was the main thing. Yeah, one of his fastest sets. But now the thing is, switching from the Cardinal to the Okeanos. Very interesting. I like that. The Gianna comes out. Now is a very classic comp from Howtoplay. The Hagang to counter her.
Yeah, it's like clockwork. You see a Gianna, Hagang comes out.
And the Changpong. I love that because I like that, but he brings the speed lead to steal it away. Interesting.
We
the
haven't
monkey
seen
and
Howtoplay
Chiwu
contest for that tonight, so
he's gonna have to bring another AoE strip and another source of control right now. Otherwise, he'll be in trouble. But the thing is, that only has one speed lead. If he brings Triton Savannah, it's difficult. So he's gonna pivot. Lulu could go in here, but I don't know if it's really strong against what's going on, because
he's going to be significantly slower than Howtoplay if he's lacking Might try to bring like P-Sam again or something into this for the 33.
Oh, I like
Or
that better.
Play
Play
the slower game.
He's gonna have to ban the damage and pray for this because it's gonna be difficult. Because if he bans the Hey Gang, there's not really a lot of ways to deal with this. Remember, you will glance on this monster, but the light monkey might still hit the control. Oh, he bans the light monkey. Very interesting. We knew he was gonna ban the Hey Gang. We knew that. So I think there's a big chance. I was afraid of that because the Han goes through, and the Han can destroy this Fire Ryu.
Yes.
I don't know if that was the
and
best.
Nobody's on will.
Yeah.
Nobody's on will. Yeah, the Han is absolutely going to melt these monsters. And there's a bomb here too.
And Death Break from the Nefties. Oof. This is gonna hurt.
This could be rough for Tars, but
misses the Death Break. A proc here can change everything. Let's see.
Han can
Kills the Ciara. Very smart.
cleaning it up, going for a stun on the Oki. But again, Tars can stand to lose this game because they're 2 matches ahead of How to Play right now. But How to Play presenting a really strong follow-up to what Tars was showing before.
Big proc. Can he kill the Han?
Wait.
Wait. If
Diana.
this Diana kills the Han, everything changes and the match is over. That is so much damage.
This is huge.
This is game. He can kill the Han right here.
Diana can turn this around.
With one transform solo from the Fire Ryu. What is this?
How does he kill Fire Ryu?
How hard did that Diana? He needs to hit the bomb. Hits the bomb. Here it comes.
That better be a lot of damage.
The Fire Ryu needs to recover. Let's see it. The bomb hitting.
Solo?
No, he doesn't have damage with the attack break. The bomb is gonna kill him, and How to Play is gonna take it back.
Oh man, that was close.
He needed to resist that bomb. Remember, bombs don't glance. So he needed to resist that bomb. If he resisted the bomb, that would have been game, but nope.
Wow, great job How to Play. It gave us a little bit of hope there with that Diana proc, which was always interesting. A suspicious amount of damage coming out of it.
Yeah, what I was afraid of is she was hitting so hard that if she got an extra turn, she could go for Gianna, kill that, or if she misses the bomb, game's over, but Gianna did not disappoint.
And then Fire Ryu just would take the rest to go. Yeah, but it was a great draft from How to Play. Really smart bans. We knew he had to ban the Hey Gang and everything, but it was just good. I think Tars might have been trying something out. See if they could get away with more of a bruiser style comp. Let's see how they adjust going next. They're still at game point. How to Play is going to have to do that again if they want to stay in this final match.
If he tries to do something similar, he might want to ban the damage, the Han. Take the control from the monkey, you know, you have the chance to counterattack, but I think he was very afraid of the bomb, right? The monkey sleeps you, then if he hits it, right? And then the bomb from Gianna still comes in. So if he brings that team, I would love a Tetra. Because the Tetra counters Gianna so well, and it counters the light monkey too, because even though he reduced the attack bar, she can just take out that slow, exactly, which is the biggest thing.
Yeah. It's surprising how relevant a Tetra would be tonight. There's How to Play representing the Kitian Desheng again in that first pick slot. Not sure if he needs to pick it that early. Like you could, again, this would be an opportunity where if they have Oki win, they could take it, but I don't think we've seen Oki from them tonight.
And goes again with a similar draft. He's comfortable, goes with the Savannah that was notably missing
from last time. And
the charm.
Bear that in mind. That actually could make the we've seen this before. Wait, we've seen this draft, and I think How to Play might have just realized the same thing. We've seen how this plays out before, and taking the Triton is really important here because we know Triton into that Savannah and Oki is rough.
But I don't know if I love this.
I don't know if it means a victory.
Ban the monkey. Ban the monkey.
Ban the monkey. Only macaco.
He has triple strip, but not a lot of control damage.
The Ciara can hurt, but like,
the Ciara needs to get very, very lucky right here. You can bring, Leo, nah, it's not a must ban necessarily. Maybe the Verd. I would like a triple revenge Verd right here, please, sir.
That would be a good call.
That's good too. Fire unit versus this. You can ban the monkey or you can ban the Ciara. Either way is really good. But I do think that banning the monkey gives you a big advantage.
You gotta take your pick. Do you want to lose a monster right off the bat with the Ciara, or do you want to just lose turns with the monkey? And it's a lot of turns. It's not just one turn. It's quite a few. And Tars is really taking their time to think, so is How to Play here.
Very interesting. He bans the monkey. It was kind of expected. He bans the Juno. I don't know if I'm in love with that. I still think that the key to this team right now is Okeanos.
Yes. because we've seen how this works. Savannah set up the death break, big damage from Oki, control, like it's a little tough. Here comes the strip from Laura. Let's see if she can land it. Again, 120 base speed.
She goes for it.
And gets it.
Gets it, but the cut from the more, if he reduces, does not reduce. Can he get the silence?
They're trading the strips. Yeah,
He needs the silence.
It's really important.
He pushes back?
And
no,
misses.
why?
A silence
No!
would have been huge.
Okeanos with a lot of damage. Why? Oh,
dude. The
Gets
silence.
reset. Savannah's gonna punish, reduces, and that's gonna
my
be a
God.
lock.
The
That's gonna be a
silence.
lock. We talked about it, how important the Okeanos was. Why didn't he risk the silence, even though on a fire unit it was needed right there?
So
but like we talked about, you pick a comp with 3 starters, 3 strippers, but not follow-up. Ciara can't do everything alone. If you ban the monkey, there's no follow-up, and that is game. Tars with a beautiful ban right now. He's gonna lock in his first ever legend finish.
Tars is our champion in our Season 18 RTA Legend. Congratulations to Tars. Tars even taking a second to try out a slower bruiser comp in the middle of their finals game there. Kind of an interesting pivot. I'm glad they gave us a show like that. Very strong showing from them.
Great draft. Love how he adapted. Amazing bans on every one of the matches from his side, and the way that he adapted of having his monsters taken away, right? He had a plan, he stick to it. You take my Cardinal, I'll go Oki. And once again, we did not see a ban on the key monster. Savannah was not banned.
Every time
She made
Savannah
it-
was in, save for that first one. Savannah
Yeah.
was so crucial for all the others. MVPs tonight: Light Monkey, Savannah, and I don't know, maybe a Triton. Triton's MVP up there.
Triton was very important, but in this match right now, I know it's a gamble trying to silence a fire monster, but right there, you would have to try to silence the whole team. It was all you could do.
Right, exactly. Yeah, going for the silence there was important. It was such an interesting start to that final round there where they were just trading strips back and forth, and then when Triton came up, he had to silence. If he didn't, because it was...
But even if he hit it, it would have been too difficult because Okeanos can get rid of a silence just throwing it with skill 1 and then the lack of damage. Ciara could only bomb 1 monster and that's it. You don't have any more control. Chiwu doesn't do anything. The Laura would have to stun, but she only stunned 1 person on each of the times that she was up here tonight, so lacked a lot of follow-up.
Would have had to get rid of that Okeanos in a single turn, and that's a lot of pressure. Even
And then
on
Savannah's
Ciara.
still there.
And she's still there with defense break and attack bar reduction for everything. Savannah, unexpectedly, the MVP of tonight. Like, when you talk about the meta monsters that we've seen in Season 18, like, she's not exactly at the top of the list when people talk about it, but she really had a strong showing.
Yeah, she came out, and in SWC, she was also very strong.
Yeah, she was.
Used a lot by Big V. It's a monster that brings a lot of damage to the table. The speed buff is huge, too, for helping you to just go around cycling against your opponent.
Yeah, very, very cool to see a Savannah represented so much, and a nice redemption arc after that first loss for them. Guys, here's that second code for you tonight. We really love spending the time with you during these Legend tournaments, and we want to make sure that you take something home with you. So here's a suite of elemental scrolls. Hope you have the best luck in the world with those too. And stay with us here because we're still going to see the highlights from everything coming.
And this beautiful coupon reminds you of something. Next week, we have the APAC, the Asia Pacific Cup. The best. The top 8 players from that region are going to be facing each other. A lot of known faces, and the current world champion will be there to defend his title. Will he make it back again to the finals? Will he not? A lot of known faces. It's going to be pretty fun.
Yes, it's going to be a really fun time, so hope you remember to watch it because there's a lot of cool action coming up in SWC, and the Legend Tournament is always a fun, cool intermission in the action to see some interesting comps from the top 4 players in the world.
Yeah, and it might even adapt, make other players use Savannah more after seeing her popping right here at the end of the season.
Yeah,
might change the meta a little bit, but one thing that's probably going to change the meta is after all these tournaments when we have the awaited balance patch. Once that comes out, we might see new monsters coming in for the finals, and who knows?
Change up the RTA environment a little bit. Lend us some interesting games. Yeah, one thing that I'm missing from Legend tournaments past is more Dragon Knights. No Dragon Knights.
Yeah, interestingly enough, we had the opportunity to see Ragdoll tonight, but as we've seen, this speed meta, killing monsters real quick, it's a mix between control and damage, right? We see a lot of these units coming in.
Cleaves.
With Death Break. Savannah has that Death Break, the Han has it, the Nefties brings it.
Cardinal's got the stun. And the
Cardinal has stun, attack bar reduction, slow. Okeanos with the big damage from artifacts, same things from the Oracle. So a lot of damage coming in, and then the strong immunity givers and Pontos and Lulu trying to disrupt this. We saw that Fran took a hit and disappeared a little bit because she only packs a one monster cleanse against the full team cleanse from Lulu, full team cleanse from Pontos
in this situation too. Yeah, Pontos, again, Pontos was great this tournament, but I don't know if I'd necessarily put him on that MVP list that we were talking about because those key players, the key players tonight was really fast strip into a defense break and attack bar reduction. Like that, and that's exactly what Savannah paired with a fast stripper brings.
Yeah. And surprisingly, Savannah kind of taking over that spot that Changpeng was really used in, right? He was that monster that brought the death break, and he brought the attack bar reduction, the reset, and Savannah is just a more aggressive option. I also have been dabbling with both in my comp and trying to see which one's best in each situation, but she was definitely the MVP of this tournament.
Yes, she definitely was. Let's take a look at the final matches that we just saw a second ago in a highlight reel.
Yeah, very interesting. The way game one we're going to watch was one of the most fun games that we've seen because it kind of surprised everyone. Howtoplay came in with a comp that he was comfortable with.
Right.
Got his LDs out.
He sort of dabbled in things that weren't his comfort zone, it seemed like, because like we've seen his usual comp, and he drifted away from it a couple times.
But on this one, he even stole the Triton, but the key here was the water Ryu hitting the strip on everyone, even on the Nefty. That's probably 100% when that death break hit on everyone, and the Cardinal comes in and destroys
big hit. Oh my God. And Howtoplay recognized that, and later we see a pre-ban on that Moore because Moore was a setup to a huge issue for Howtoplay's strategy.
Very, very well drafted. Right now on the second one, we liked this one a little bit more, but the Juno pick and the ban on the monkey was just key. Even though he stripped, right now he gets the cut, reduction. The Savannah comes in with a lot of damage, even with the Okeanos stunning the team. The Gani can't do much.
Yes, Gani wasn't able to do a lot there, and even if they did get something going, Howtoplay with the Pontos and the Gani Ventilate, it would really just be hanging on.
Yeah.
You wouldn't really be getting anywhere.
You don't kill anyone. How do you kill this Juno? How do you kill the Savannah? The thing is, Savannah gives you the speed buff and makes him even lap.
And this is the one where maybe Han would
have been the ban. Yeah.
Would have been the ban here because Han just so efficiently can knock out all of those squishy damage-dealing units on Tarza's side, specifically talking about Ciara and Oki.
Yeah, and for a second, we dreamt that Fire Ryu or Douglas would solo right here, but when the bomb landed on Fire Ryu, everything was done.
Yeah. Yep. And that was the moment that match was decided. But it was a fun intermission for Tars. Tars trying out a slower bruiser comp for us at home so that we could see a little bit of a different draft tonight.
Yeah. And once again, taking out the Nefties off his hands, very important, speed lead disruption. And right here, 3 strippers, a lot of starters. Right now, he does not go for the silence. And the biggest thing is, you don't have a lot of damage as well. You don't have a lot of follow-up.
So many expectations on that Ciara. That poor Ciara was expected to do so much in this game, and she just didn't do it.
She wished she was a John and could bomb everyone, but she didn't even take a turn.
Yeah, didn't even take a turn. And that is the end of the story of how Tars took the Legend title for RTA Season 18.
Whew. And it's kind of an underdog story, to be honest.
Yeah.
No one knew him. No one thought that he could win it, and he went against an LD heavy comp and took it with elementals, which makes me really happy.
Yes, it was a really cool thing to see. It was a statement. There was a lot of confidence, a lot of... it seems that they were very comfortable with that draft. Like, they'd been playing with it for a long time, and it was just a substitution game at the end there. If Cardinal's gone, you sub in an Oki. It's like little changes here.
Very well prepared.
Super airtight.
Yeah, and the main thing, Evan, the picks were really good, obviously, the gameplay, both sides, but the bans on Tar's side were spectacular.
They were impeccable.
Yeah.
The only time we saw something where maybe you could make an argument for another one was that Han game, right? But it was trying something new.
Exactly. The other ones, he took out the control, took out the damage. It weren't matches where he procced out of something of a stun and control. No, were matches that he flat out dominated.
And that's one of the best things about a best of 5. You get to know your opponent. You see that Howtoplay likes to bring a certain kind of strat, and more often than not, it lacks a little bit of follow-up.
And the thing was that he was prepared for it. He knew the monsters he was going against. And right now we see it. The new legend, the summoner that won it all. Tars, congratulations.
And the journey that he went on to get here too, finding his way up. And again, all these players are the top 4. None of these are pushovers. This is a pretty incredible obstacle to overcome to make it to the Legend title.
And if I'm not mistaken, Tars wasn't even in the Legend tournament an hour before this. I think it was another player that was on the top 4, and he overtook, and we saw that even Howtoplay was just a couple points below him.
Right.
So he surpassed, he got the 4th spot, then the 3rd one, and came on to win. So 3rd and 4th, going to the finals, and 3 wanting Howtoplay that is already a legend.
Now that is my kind of Legend tournament story. Yeah, that was great to see. Congratulations to Tars and to each player for getting here in the first place, because you played through the RTA Season 18 and made it all the way to the top.
And remember, guys, thank you so much for being with us this late. Don't forget to claim your rewards, and we have another tournament next week, the APAC tournament, the Best of Asia. Make sure to watch it, and after that, the EU Cup.
Yes, so join us back again for more SWC action. The Legend tournament has been absolutely fantastic. So thank you all so much for staying up so late and enjoying these awesome games with us today. We hope you have an awesome weekend. Have a good night.
Bye-bye.